alongside myself is Morgan Dunn, and we've got a barn burner on our hands. Two teams again vying for supremacy inside of the Appalachian B division. It's going to be not only KSU Black, but also UTK Orange. Again, barn burner in the most utmost beautiful fashion.
Yeah, it's looking like a good one right now, and it's a lot on the line for one of these teams. KSU Black is sitting just in that final position to get into Split 2 at the end of Split 1. They are one game ahead of LSU going back and forth, and a win right here against a very good UTK Orange team would go a long way for them to get some breathing room over their opponents. It's going to be a tough one, though. KSU Black played that LSU squad all the way to a 3-2 map count, round 11, map 5. That was a barn burner in the truest sense, where UTK Orange came in against an LSU team that apparently was off of scrims for a bit, but they cleaned them up pretty good 3-0. So I think there's definitely an overdog and an underdog going into this one, but when your back is against the wall like KSU are getting towards, you never know how these players might pop off.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit crazy too, because again, as we were kind of alluding to there beforehand, KSU is in a little bit of a tricky situation here. Of course, needing to basically win this to almost secure themselves that advantage in getting in towards that top division in Split 2. And if you're wondering what Split 2 is, well, in the second part of the CCL Season 3, it is essentially going to take the top 6 teams from both the A and B division of each region and pair them up against each other in another round robin, which will then equate to more matches, more fun, but top 4 teams out of that will go ahead and automatically make the playoffs, which is coming up on April 16th, 17th, and 18th, and you're not going to want to miss those. However, let's go ahead and recap the schedule here for the Alpha and the Bravo stream today. We have saw Liberty Navy and HPU Purple already on the stream beforehand. That was a 3-1 win for the side of HPU Purple. Here, of course, KSU Black and UTK Orange. And for our final match tonight, and the final match of week 5, it'll be Miami, Ohio versus North Kentucky Gold. And that'll be the 11 o'clock game tonight here on Alpha. But talking about Bravo, Barton College and Johnson C. Smith just finished their series. And the 9:30 game that's going to be starting up here in just a couple of seconds as well is going to be number 24 Liberty Red taking on Concord Gray. And for the final match, again, to end off week 5 for Bravo, NJIT Red and Brock Red are going to be facing off. And again, another match that is going to be huge for placement getting in towards Split 2. So a lot of great matches here on Alpha, a lot of great matches here on Bravo. The great thing about all the matches that are going to be on stream and throughout the entirety of the CCL for the remaining week or two left here in Split 1, everything means something. Every game is valuable. Everything is on the line, especially when you're vying for playoff spots.
Yeah, it is getting down to the wire here in Split 1, and everybody wants to be on the top side of that. You want to say you were in with the best of the best, but there's still going to be a lot to play for that bottom section going into Split 2. I love the new system that got found out here. I mean, 180 teams. You got to find a way to balance that many guys playing against each other, and I think this is the perfect way to do it. And actually going into next week, some of those teams will already be into their Split 2, so a couple of matches that might be on stream, you will be starting to see the best of the best out of divisions with only 10 teams in them. A lot coming to a head right now as we get to the midpoint of the regular season here in the CCL, and I'm really excited as we kick off this one. Going to be Moscow on the hard point. And we just saw that map in mode at the end of the last game. It's a very rotation heavy going from P2 to P3.
It's a quite difficult map indeed when you're talking about rotations. Rotations are the utmost importance. A very hard point map, but on Moscow, it's just a bit different. We talked about yesterday when we were on the stream as well, how Moscow control before it was taken out of the rotation was so incredibly difficult to break over towards that ace side because of how difficult that hold is over towards library with all those power positions that your ARs can set up upon, the SMGs getting up close and personal with that staircase head glitch that they have over towards middle map. And it really allows for the team that gets there early to set up, get a lot of time, accumulate a lot of momentum throughout the game, and also be able to set up for P4 as well. So the rotations from P2 to 3, again, we're going to be watching for that very, very heavily. But again, that is going to be map number 1. For the rest of the series, it's not going to be like what we saw the last stream, okay? We had 3 checkmates in a row. To no one's pleasure, I know. But Moscow for map number 1, Raid for the Search and Destroy coming up for map 2. Checkmate Control, again, is going to be map number 3. And if we need to go to the distance, Garrison Hardpoint, and a Miami Search and Destroy, something that we don't typically see instead of the CCL. It's weird to see how teams almost opt to go for completely different map sets from what we see in the professional level in the CDL. You see a lot of Miami Search and Destroy in the CDL, not as much in the CCL. The same thing with trying to get rid of Checkmate as much as possible in the CDL and then playing it a ton here in the CCL. I don't know what it is about these guys, but they somehow love it, and more power to you. Different strokes for
I
different
mean,
folks.
it's when you go into the college kid mindset. It's like, you know what? For no reason at all, I don't like Miami. We're banning it forever. We're never going to play it. Same like, I love Checkmate. We're going to play it for every single map, every single mode. It's kind of, you're not really coming in it at that same what is meta mindset as a lot of these pros are. You weirdly have more of a superstar mentality on some of these players than even the guys at the very top. But I always love it. You see things that will never get tried at that top level in college because of it. We've seen guns that no one has brought out in the CDL come through. We have seen strategies no one has tried come through. And sometimes you never know. If you put a keyboard in front of a monkey, he'll eventually type Shakespeare. So let's see what these guys can have going for themselves as they load in here to map 1 on Moscow. Good spawns for UTK Orange. Expect for them to try and hold on to them as KSU come into a head here, P1.
Pushing in towards the front. It is going to be a contest right off the rip. Pinstripe kill feed to start us off here. Juice is going to be able to pick up a kill there with O-Rose as well. So 2 will go down for the side of UTK Orange early off the rip. You're going to see all of them actually spawn out towards that B Boulevard. So an interesting push here. Now it's going to have to be a little bit more of a calculated play from the side of UTK Orange for the sheer fact that they've got to get up close and personal with all of these gunfights and then get in towards this hill as well. They've done a good job so far. Kills back and forth in the middle once again. Pinstripes as they go back over towards the next set of rotations though. P2 still held down by KSU Black.
Yeah, very good setup right now by KSU, getting themselves over there towards the top right corner and really just holding off Slayan, who wants to push his way through. Same for Alstro there. These flanks are just no opening for the side of KSU to sneak on, or for the side of UTK to sneak on by. And off of it, KSU, pretty even from P1, are looking to get a good lead for themselves moving forward.
Gustavo in the back looking to be the lone survivor here for UTK Orange, trying to make way for the side of the rosters of UTK Orange to maybe find a break in towards this hill. And as 4 go down, it's going to be UTK Orange who hold on into the back. A great break within the first 10 seconds is going to allow them to accrue at least maybe 5 to 10 seconds of time before that initial break potential comes through from KSU Black. But Shank, Juice, both being a little bit dormant for now. We'll come push through the door, but it will be Alstro there to go ahead and find 2. 30 seconds left. Rotations are huge. At this point, really, Morgan, with about 25, 30 seconds left, obviously you want to be on that rotations, but is 30 seconds a little bit too much to give up, or is that just enough, especially if you get a full 60 on the next point?
I mean, 30 seconds is fine to send a guy back, but going a full 4 stack back over to the next hill, completely just giving over 30 seconds, that's too much. I mean, a free 30 seconds, that's over half of the hill. You can't expect to get more than that on a good hold for yourself, and you don't want to just be giving it over free for their team. Now, if they come out here and they end up tying up the score and get a good rotation over to P4, that might change things, but Revise already looking to challenge that with the flanker on the backside, gets his team some good spawns right now as they are a full 4-man stack looking to break this hill.
Interesting spawns indeed. I mean, you look at your mini map right now, you see players from KSU Black, they spawn up at middle map, but this is actually going to allow them to have a nice little hold back over here towards the bank side. Remember, the most important thing here is talking about obviously getting this hill time initially, but also rotating over towards that next point, but huge gunfights will come through. Sean will be able to find that kill. However, UTK Orange, it's come down to individual players making big plays thus far. Last time it was the point for Gustavo playing over towards the B8 street. This time it was Revise in the back spawns, playing single life players out on an island, but allowing their teams to secure the spawns. Great stuff, awesome plays, and I love the side of UTK Orange being able to grow that lead, even when it seems like KSU has that advantage with early rotations.
Yeah, Juice going to get himself one of those early rotations right now over to P4, and I think that's a much better timing for the side of Kennesaw State. They got there where they're not giving up too much time on the current hill. They get a good setup over on the next, and Juice is just playing his role perfectly, knocking out trophy systems, getting time on the hard point. It's not always about the KD that you get at the end of the day. It's what you can do to help out your team throughout it, and I like to see that play out of the KSU member. Now as O-Rose goes down, though, and UTK start to push forward, they have positioning for themselves themselves to get those spawns going into P1 and P2, and they can turn it around. Or, well, actually, they have that lead, as you were talking about. That's where I start to worry about Kennesaw State getting these good rotations, but not holding on. You can really lose control of the game fast.
Great shots there from Juice is going to allow his teammates to push in towards the hill. But as I say, that Slay and the Slayer comes back around to find 2 shots under the taxi aren't going to be there. However, the trades do come through. Shank hops up through the doggy door, peeks out towards, finds 1. Goose Fava with the long range shots won't be able to connect for the time being. So scrap time to the side of KSU Black. UTK Orange looking once again to find early rotations in towards the middle P1, but it is going to be time for the second rotation of hardpoints here. Last time it was the side of KSU Black who got the rotations to P2 early on from their kill feed inside of the middle map. This time it's UTK Orange who look to have that fate turn around in their favor.
Yeah, and right now for UTK Orange, I'm really impressed by the captain slaying right now. You called him slaying the Slayer, and he is coming out in that regard. But looking at his stats throughout the season, he's not been that guy. He's been a lot more reserved. He's just been racking up time on the objective. To come out and lead your squad from a very gun-heavy play style, that'll really get your guys in the right mindset, and you see the other players coming up to that level. They are taking challenges. They are going after KSU Black, and it is paying off in dividends as 2 of the KSU members are really struggling to get off the floor. Trauma and Juice need to find a way to turn things around. I mean, Juice, I love the objective time, as I was telling you, but if you cannot get the kills to hold it, it's just not going to come out to much. Already a 60-point deficit for themselves.
Took them 10 seconds to break over towards P2 last time. This time they've got the advantage, and as a player is going to be topping up in towards top PD, it is going to be gunfights that go down in towards middle map. Goose Fava wisely backs off. No players there to challenge middle map thus far. However, off the respawn block, they will be coming. The reinforcements will be there. Over towards the B S&D room, it is going to be a couple of players on the side of KSU Black pushing up, but to no avail. 3 are going to go down. Make that a 4th one as well. Over towards Eskies, they'll spawn out. UTK Orange not only hold this hard point, they've held the side of KSU Black dormant throughout the last 2 hard points, maybe even make it 3 hard points inside of this map. It's been great all the way through and through thus far. Look for them to continue this as well. Even though they were able to hold down P2 and weren't able to get those rotations last time, Morgan, they broke him in instantaneously back over towards P3 as well.
Yeah, early on, it was good back and forth for KSU and UTK. It seemed like this could be anybody's game, but all of a sudden, pedal to the metal on the side of Tennessee as they've extended to an 80-point lead. Now, Juice on the backside, he's going to get picked up, so another rotation in favor of UTK Orange. They are looking to really get close to picking this one up. Not quite close enough yet to win the game off this hill, but to be the first guys over to P3 when you've already strung together 3 straight good hills for yourself. You're just not giving your opponents a chance to get back into the game, and you will always have that ability to just come out, rotate early with such a big lead.
Oh my goodness, Revise makes a huge play over towards the bus. That is just picture perfect beauty right there. What he does, plays his life on an off angle, waits for the players to push up through middle map. Everybody from the side of KSU Black's expecting them to be playing exactly towards that point. Doesn't happen. They get caught from behind. Great stuff, allows for even more hill time. Another 3 will go down. The slaying department is crucial right now. Revise on a 4 streak, looking for more potential streaks. But again, with about 30 seconds left for the side of UTK Orange to be able to win the game, will it matter if the streaks come through? Especially when you're shooting nukes out of your gun like that. The XM4, they G8 it in the European region for challengers. Here it's making wonders for the side of UTK Orange. Hard point. Seems like it's their forte.
Yeah, that big play right there could be it all right now, as KSU will get good spawns. They'll have a 4-man stack on the hill, but how long can they hold it becomes the question. So often already, they have been the first team across, especially in that first rotation of hardpoints, but they are just forced off of it so quickly, and you're about to see the same thing happen. Juice just going to be able to escape with his life, but he is a single man surrounded by a pack of wolves. Not going to go down quite yet, but they're finally picked up, and with 36 seconds left on the clock, this could easily be the final hold for UTK Orange. Shank gonna try and push his way in, but it is a 4-on-4, just straight head-to-head, and Goose Fava with the massive artillery strike on 3, and that's gonna seal things.
Yeah, it will. I mean, just look at it. When it all comes down to it, those streaks I was talking about, are they really going to matter? You know, getting him this late into a game when you're already having a lead, it really didn't matter, but it just sealed the deal and took it all the way home. They ride it into the sunset. UTK Orange swiped the floor with KSU Black in map number 1. The good turn away from this game, though, is there wasn't a 100-point club, so you have that going into map number 2. Momentum obviously in the side of UTK Orange's favor, but if you are KSU Black, statistically speaking, you do have a very good search and destroy record in your hands and in your favor. So maybe that is going to allow you to tie this one up 1-1. But again, folks, if you weren't here at the beginning of the broadcast, we talked about how important KSU Blacks, or rather this match is for KSU Black, due to the fact that they are duking it out with LSU Purple for a potential spot in Split 2 top division.
Yeah, and I mean, when it comes down to it, because of how close LSU and KSU are right now in the standings, even individual maps really get into play. So taking whatever you can off of UTK is going to help KSU with this. But
Absolutely.
you would love to get that full win, to add another notch to your record, get away from 500. That happens. I really can't see LSU catching up to KSU Black right now. And that's still sitting in the back of your mind. You have to wonder, is that pressure starting to get to the team? You know, these are big games, even if they're not, say, playoff games, they have big implications for your season. And if that changes your thought process, you're not reacting, you're overthinking things, it can go downhill pretty fast. For UTK Orange, though, just a beautiful top to bottom hard point. All the players seem to be on top of things. And as I said, I was really impressed by Slayin. Coming into this, I thought he'd be kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel for UTK's side. There was so much talent in the guns for Tennessee, but he was the best Slayer there for a good portion of the game before he was finally passed up there by Fava near the end. And so if they continue to have all four members playing at a top level, I just don't see an opening for KSU coming.
No, neither do I. And again, even though this is a big matchup for KSU Black, we do have to measure the importance for UTK Orange here. They're only 6-2 compared to KSU Black's 5-3 record. So even though they're not technically locked in, they have a very, very good chance at third inside of the Appalachian B division. However, adding another win to the win column necessarily won't hurt your team whatsoever, especially since records will still matter very, very much going into that second split, because of the top four teams inside of the top division of split number 2 will automatically qualify for playoffs. So important to talk about playoffs a little bit here as well. As we said beforehand, April 16th, 17th, and 18th will be the dates you need to look out for on your calendars. Mark those down. That is where the 64-team double elimination best of 5 $25,000 playoff bracket will start, finish, and be completed. We'll crown a champion, and then after that, we have a little bit of more fun, which we'll touch on a bit later in the stream. But talking about the next map here, we're going to be going to a raid, search, and destroy, one that we saw on stream yesterday. It's going to be rush heavy. It's going to be a battle of attrition early on in the rounds due to the fact that it's going to need to be necessary trades all over the map. Morgan, what are you looking for both of these two teams here inside of the raid, search, and destroy when we talk about slaying power that is really going to set either of these two teams over the edge?
Yeah, like you're saying, rush heavy. There are going to be big battles, and so that slaying power becomes important. It's going to be really big to take control of the middle of the map, that long line of sight where two ARs will usually go head-to-head. If we had snipers and smokes, that's where they would face off against each other. Once you take that area, especially as the attackers, you can just decide to go either direction. If you have more people set up towards the top, you can head by pool. If you have more towards the bottom, you can go to statue. It just opens up your options. What I would like to see out of KSU Black, though, is don't necessarily play to the speed of UTK Orange. If you can, if they are just being too fast, too furious against you, back up. Maybe let them get that plant without giving up a life and try to take a retake, or some other way of just avoiding too many one-on-one battles when they're beating you on the sticks. Right now, as we load in, though, it will be UTK from the attacking side, immediately pushing over here towards the B bomb site, and they go down initially. It's going to be first blood for KSU Black. That is going to be very important, but also watch your flanks, and a big shot there by Shanksy, but to prevent it from being too bad.
Bomb in hand to Slayin. Top laundry control, as well as the ring control for the side of UTK Orange. They've got pushed up on the offensive side, but maybe a bit of an aggressive challenge here. As I say that, though, the pistol shots come through, but it won't matter. The Krig over the top will find the last kill of the round. UTK Orange, they get up, they get aggressive, and again, that is exactly what we wanted to allude to before the broadcast, and it comes out full force in round number 1 here. The incredible power from both of these two teams to play aggressive, but more importantly, UTK Orange having that first foot forward on the map, especially with that first blood that came through. It's going to win you rounds pretty much every single time if you can play your strengths. 1-0. UTK Orange have the advantage. here.
Yeah, and that's around where Shank is in his comms right now. Like, come on, guys. I got the initial pick. I hit a nasty flick onto the second guy. We need to take man advantages all the way towards the end. And I liked what KSU were doing. They played it more slow. They got that first blood. They just weren't ready for a big aggressive flank. Now, as UTK plays this defense more aggressively, Slayin will go down. So, first blood over to KSU again. Kennesaw are coming out of the gates hot, but can they finish out these rounds?
Gustavo with the Krieg, looking to make a play over here towards Laundry. Pushes up, sneaky there, gonna be able to find the shots, but no kills go through. Slayin, though, will find his demise. Alstro on the Juice, that's gonna even things out at 3 versus 3, and that also equates to the bomb not getting planted over towards B. Shots on the staircase, Rose with the Krieg. Now we flip over to Gustavo, who finds a kill. So again, another trade evens things out at a 2 versus 2. All players still relatively close towards this ring place. However, with 40 seconds left, it is gonna be the side of UTK Orange that just need to play a bit back. They can wait for the side of KSU Black to get up onto that bomb before they make that initial play or be able to win the round off of time. 30 seconds left, pushing up. It is going to be Gustavo finding that first kill. Rose is going to directly challenge into the line of sight. However, going to have to wisely back off from the challenge. Now Rose in a 1 versus 2 looking for the final kills out towards middle map. Jumps around the corner, looks towards kitchen, has to slide around the corner and recognize a player is here. Alstro will be able to find his second in the round, take down the player, but more importantly, UTK Orange up 2-0 here in the search and destroy.
Yeah, and you saw it again. Kennesaw, they have the man advantage and they let it slip away. It really showed the double-edged sword that can be the B site here on Raid. You get in, you get good control for yourself, but it's kind of a suicide run to try and run up and actually plant that bomb. And if you go down there, you don't get the plant off. It is just leaving your team in no man's land. So difficult to get back up there, pick it up, and plant it back because you, at that point, are going to be a man down. You're going to have not enough guns to cover yourselves. UTK Orange doing a very good job on these retakes and recovering after giving up those first bloods. I'd like to see, though, for them, just start dominating if you're going to dominate. Don't start off by dropping back in these rounds. Get the first ones for yourselves and take it all the way home.
Trends still follow. UTK Orange, first bloods every single round. Finally, a trade will come through, but it won't be enough. It'll still be a 3 versus 2 advantage. Bomb in the hands of Slang, and they've got B cleared out. However, it's still going to be a sneaky Trauma in middle map playing in towards this 0.5 bottom area that is going to be looking out not only towards the pillar side, but also looking in towards Zigzag for a potential player that's going to be coming through Art, just waiting back and playing patient. Trauma not exposing himself to middle map or the ring. Slaying up top on the ring is going to be looking for the player in top Laundry, but again, a very dormant push for both of these two teams right now. Passive as they go, it's finally going to be Slayin who makes this initial first move. Rose up and towards top. Laundry is not going to be able to read the plant just yet. Trauma won't be able to see it, so he won't be able to call it out to his teammate, but there it is. The bomb won't be able to get planted. However, 15 seconds left, a 1 versus 2. It's Slayin in middle map. Now Slayin also has bomb and knows where the other player is. This is going to be a plant over towards A. If he can get there in time, he'll be able to do so. Now it's just going to be up to Rose being able to get over. Read this quickly enough to be able to win a 1 versus 1.
No way that he gets away with that. Slaying in the 2v1, dead to rights. The call out should have been there for KSU Black. They had the perfect positioning for a pinch, but just walking by each other with a wall in between. It is Slaying that recognizes first, turns on him, and gets the plant down. He's going to get spotted out by O-Rose. Lots of shots, but can't quite finish it off in these final moments. Have 23 seconds to work with, but you got to remember getting that defuse down. If you let the time slip away, it can all be for naught. Slaying had him dead to rights there out of the window, but doesn't pull the trigger. He knows what he has on his side. It's the clock, and it is ticking away. O-Rose finds it. Can he get the defuse down in time? I think he'll just have it. What a clutch right there to get KSU on the board.
I mean, you said it perfectly. I mean, he had the advantage with the clock. You had about 12 seconds left. You knew that he wasn't planting because of his gun because of his gun being risen into the air and not having that animation of the bomb being in the hand. So all you have to do, slide through the window and maybe get a little bit of a peek. I like the play to get a little bit of a challenge there because you never know. It's those split-second decisions and 1 versus 1s, but really, that was around the side of KSU Black should have won initially, but it could have been a 1 versus 2 very easily there. KSU Black escapes narrowly as it stands. And, we said it was a great play about the player of UTK Orange to play the time, but even more importantly, KSU Black's player, you got to kind of give Rose credit for standing on the bomb, waiting for the player to start pushing out of the window because you have to get that defuse. So if you just even push a little bit too far up, you don't have time to get back to the bomb. Great plays, great recognition, great search and destroy savvy. Wins in the first round of the game, puts them on the board.
Yeah, and it is definitely a map-saving win. You go down 3-0. I do not think you get back in against this UTK squad. KSU really thinking about the top side of the map. They're making a lot of noise. They have shotguns, they have broken windows, and now they are going the opposite direction. But none of that has shaken Slan out of his position. He is holding strong over down there by Statue, looking to be the lone man standing on the B site as KSU just continue to wait, and finally a call out is going to come through. Goose Fava sees a man, gets some bullets down, and that is going to be his rotation back for support. Any advantage that KSU might have had has fallen away, and they're running out of time now. Need to go soon as Juice gets picked up, and that's bombed down.
You've got to be able to play your offenses quickly here. This is exactly the problem that we've seen with slow offensive pushes. However, it does work out for them this time. The slow defense over towards A isn't going to work out in their favor. Bomb will go down, some more time to work with. It is revised now in a 1 versus 2 after the first kill comes through in a technical 1 versus 3. Wrapping back through the spawn. Going to take his time here, play his life, but look at the players in number 5 and 7. They've got themselves split up around the map nicely. It might not be the best for trades, though, because they've got each other so far apart that if a player is able to slip through the cracks maybe just a bit, it's going to be quite difficult. Behind the rock, Trauma's going to find some shots, but oh my goodness, just peeks his head up a little bit further, says, nah, give me your life. I'm going to take you to the grave. I'm going to take the round. In KSU Black, they tied up 2-2.
That was a big test right there of what you were saying, because it was a 1v1 long range between the ARs. That kill comes through in the favor of UTK. I think the advantage in the round swaps across, but finally now KSU are able to close out a couple rounds in their favor. They still haven't been the cleanest, but they're dubs nonetheless. They tie it up 2-2, and they have a chance for themselves. I would love to see one more, but at the very least, I am looking at guys like Juice. Come out and meet up with your teammates. Everyone else is even or positive. You're still sitting at 1 and 4, and you haven't put that much effort in, or I'm sure the effort is there, but the results haven't quite been thus far. See if he can come in and meet up with his team.
Staircase push. Shots over the top. Goose Fava with the Krig. Nothing in the term of first blood has gone through yet. Both of these teams, again, it's one of those rounds where they've seen each other, but haven't been able to find those initial kills. So Staircase and pool control essentially all there for the side of UTK Orange. It's just going to be about getting that bomb onto the site and being able to get it down. That's exactly what will happen unless a kill comes through. Juice with some shots won't be able to find the trade, so now a 3 versus 4 is going to have to be the retake here. Shots through isn't going to be able to find much except the tag, but now information of where the KSU Black players are. 3 versus 3, 2-2 in the rounds.
Yeah, right now, O-Rose has to be careful for himself on top of the stairs because Slane is just waiting for him. Not going to be able to find that kill as we're down to the 3v3, but time ticking away, as you said. And all of a sudden, it is man advantage back. Good shots by Goose Fava, leaving Trauma all alone. He is going to fall. And UTK Orange retake themselves in the lead in a very saying round right there. They got the plant down early. They got themselves a man advantage. They closed it out cleanly. I think that is the best round either of these teams have put forward thus far.
And I think that does come down from a team push, too, because, I mean, when you look from the perspective of UTK Orange, they get pool control early on. They know that KSU Black is going to have to be forced for a retake. So if you have a player playing up towards top bedroom looking for the flank, and then you have a couple more players over towards A, after that bomb goes down and you've got that first blood in your back pocket, you know that you have a 3v4 retake in your favor. So it's not like it's going to be a difficult thing to have. But as we do looking towards this next round, KSU Black is going to be able to find that first blood, something that they've not been able to do much inside of this map number 2. Bomb's going to go down over towards B, or at least for the time being. Players number 1, 2, and 4, the last ones alive. Trades come through 2 versus 3. KSU Black, they're looking good right now.
Yeah, getting another man advantage for themselves, but I still don't feel the confidence behind them. They have just not been able to close out these 3v2s. They've had them nearly every round, even though they're behind right now. Juice is going to get a chance at a big flank for himself. Coming in and finding that first one is huge, but Revise trades it right
1v1.
back, and all of a sudden we're left into the 1v1. Trauma will have time, but if he tries to just ninja this away, might find it halfway through. Gonna find the timing, though. Trauma not freaking out, gets the kill, and KSU tie it up yet again. A close one, but they are able to find the round.
It's a good round. UTK, Unfortunately, they just got that first blood. It's a testament to how you have to play over towards A. Even if you are on the defensive side and you know that the other team wants to be aggressive on offense, you need to send bodies and stack that point. A is a site that you don't want to have necessarily give up pressure on, but at the same time, if you let B go through, you are asking to be dealing with a world full of trouble if that other team can get inside of your laundry window after that first blood comes through. It's just maybe not necessarily the best play from the side of UTK Orange with that setup that they had. Alstro, though, will be able to find again that first blood for the side of UTK Orange, something that's been great for them thus far. We said KSU Black beforehand was the better search and destroy team out of these two teams, just statistically speaking. So far, both of these teams very even.
Yeah, but I do like what I've seen out of KSU to just not give up. They've continued to grind and try and get back into this one, but this round is looking ugly. Oro's left 1v4, needing a clutch ace to turn things around, and now he's been spotted. A three-man pinch gonna come through, and there was just never a chance. Flawless round for UTK Orange, and that's what the initial pressure can do for yourself. UTK coming out the gates hot, got themselves a double kill, and at that point, you can always challenge with more manpower than what's on the other side. There's just never a chance really to turn things around unless you have an insane, outstanding player, which I don't know if KSU really have in terms of MVP stats. There are a lot of guys that are all right. They are good as a team. They cover each other's weaknesses, but to have someone to just lean on and clutch out rounds, that is a tough thing to find.
Be pushed on the offensive side. Shank's going to be able to find the first, and well, there's Trauma with another kill. That's going to be a huge factor now. Now they have a 4 versus 2. Now making a 4 versus 1. Alstro left alive again in a 1 versus 4 for the side of UTK. Orange will be able to find the first. Oh, no, don't get the second. Okay, that's where it could have got bad. Sakes used to say, second player that goes down in the search and destroy in a 1 versus 4 is going to be the player that faults your team, because then the other two are going to be left struggling, and it's going to be a lot less surefire in a 1 versus 2 than, of course, a 1 versus 4 when players aren't playing together. But again, a very fast, aggressive, in-your-face round from KSU Black. That's what they need to do when they're on the offensive side. We've seen dormant pushes not work for them. We've seen passive plays kind of work out in some scenarios, but that's only when they're able to get that advantageous line of sight and maybe find that first blood here or there. But 15 seconds, we'd already had 2 to 3 players wiped off the board. Going to be the same thing here. Alstro looking for the first kill around here on Shank. Shank's going to be able to find some shots. However, he'll find himself in the ground as KSU Black now down alive. Things set up at 3-3.
Yeah, at this point, it's going to become the team that remembers how to defend A first that wins it, going back and forth, trading these trading these attacking B side victories between the two sides. And here again, UTK are going to take full control. At one point, KSU had 3 men inside of the middle of the map, and they could have had a pinch over by B, but 2 wrap back around through the defensive spawns. And this is going to be a big question on if that pays out, because you have a lot less pressure for that pinch. Trauma all alone right here, just hoping to find a target. Thing is, UTK does not have an opening. They can't sneak anyone towards the bomb. If you find the timing, though, you will be able to get in, and that is slaying sneaking by Trauma. This plan finishes off. It can change the game, but with his toes peeking out, Trauma gonna find it in man advantage back over to the defense.
Pulls to the boots. That's not gonna be advantageous. I'm gonna be picked back up now by Alstro. 3 versus 2. Retake, potentially having to come through here, but the bomb is going to get down, and now Juice knows he can just run out here, but Alstro wisely plays his life over towards the ring. I'm surprised nobody from KSU Black was going to be the first one to make the play, and now even out at 2 versus 2, that is a huge pick there for UTK Orange, because now this post-plant setup becomes even more valuable. Up towards Trop, he's going to be looking for Trauma, saw him run through Art, and that's a huge another kill. Now, what was a round that was a 3 versus 2, now a 1 versus 2. Rose has to look for the last 2 players. Knows one's over by ring, but isn't able to find the shots just yet or find the peak angle onto the players. Goose Fava reads it perfectly around Laundry. 5-4. UTK around that they should not have had any business winning. They take it. Now it's going to be on the side of KSU Black to have to force around 11 and basically make this the same looking series as we saw within that first best of 5 here on Alpha.
I got my head in my hands right there. Juice, what are you doing, my man? You're just laying down and not checking. You've too many angles that can see you from right there, and he pays the price dearly. The post-plant situation is so strong by B that as soon as you lose that man advantage, you've basically just started losing that round, and you see it right there. Oro's left with no real chance in the 1v2. KSU just cannot finish some of these rounds for the life of them as Slane comes in aggressively right here around ring. Backs against the wall. It is match point here in round 10 for KSU Black. They really would love to take a map off of UTK Orange, and they are taking them to the distance, but I don't think Tennessee is going to give up on it that easily.
Alstro, he's been the equalizer every single round, it seems like. Every time that there's a player that gets picked off a UTK Orange, it's going to be a trade there from Alstro that comes through. 3 streak in the S&D right now, 12-5 on the game, leads the lobby in terms of kills. Now, Alstro will be left alive in another 1 versus 3, at least a technical 1 versus situation, but it is going to be Juice over towards the B side. Knows that the player is there. Rose will get taken down, and this is huge information because now he knows that the bomb is going to go down. There's a player out towards ring. I don't know if he saw Trauma there or maybe just saw the heel of the player. It's going to be definitely difficult to tell from the Codcaster angle that we just saw. However, in his mind, he knows that players are going to be playing over towards Laundry. Peeks out. Juice there. I think he might have saw Alstro up in towards the top art window, but I'm not 100% sure as he wraps over towards the left side. Trauma looking for the kill here, just playing passively. Player number 8 has rotated in towards middle map, so Juice looking for the long range shots. Alstro is going to be able to tag that player up with 17 seconds left. He's got to find both of these players, and they are so far spread out along the map right now that even if he goes to try to find the defuse, it won't matter. It's going to be a round win for KSU Black. Inspects the weapon. Won't matter. He's just trying for streaks right now, trying to keep himself alive. And if he looks to his left, he may be able to find the kill. He sees, okay. Okay. We don't have to worry about streaks anymore. We're tied at 5. Round 11. This is what everybody loves to see.
It was the right play, though, right there to try and hold on to those streaks because you don't really have a chance anymore. The timer has gone too far down. You have 4 kills for yourself. It would take 3 to get there, but you never know what could come through. Ends up falling, ends up not mattering, but it is a round 11 here with KSU on the attacking side. I think overall the attack has been doing very well in this map, and that initial pick down mid doesn't come through. You see the focus by B, but it's a much more passive stance from KSU. They are not rushing in, finding these fights. They want UTK to come to them, and as damage continues to get sent both ways, no one will fall. This first pick is going to mean so much, but for UTK, you have to be able to lock in the pinch here when they funnel themselves in on the B site.
It's about what kind of control you'd rather have here. Mid-map over towards A ring. Slaying's going to be there, middle maps. Oh, he's going to be taken down to the wall. Bang, that's 2 down already now for the side of KSU Black. They tied it up at 5-5 with a round win beforehand. Now with a staunch advantage here inside of the last round of the search and destroy match, they can go for the plant over towards B. They're going to be able to get this down. Juice with the bomb is going to be able to find it. Now Revise has had his position revealed in terms of intel and some shots that come through. So now looking towards middle. Rose finds Goose Favo. The last kill in the back is there, tying the series up at 1 apiece. KSU Black wins a very decisive game number 2, not only for the fact that it gives them momentum, but for the fact that, again, we talk about how big this series is for the side of KSU Black, how much it means for this roster, and what it could do for their playoff chances here inside of Season 3 of the CCL. That might be the biggest search and destroy match that they have won this season.
Yeah, and what great shots there. What great shots there when there was nearly the pinch by UTK in the middle of the map. I thought that could have been the end of it all by KSU, but both members able to win gunfights I didn't think they had business winning. You get that 4-2 lead for yourselves, and it just all turns around. The dominoes fall in your favor, and they end up completing the comeback victory. 2 different comebacks throughout that map. They were down early, they tied it up, and then they were down late with map point against themselves, winning 2 straight. I'm really impressed.
Ice in the veins, Morgan. That's all it is. They've got the ice. They've got composure. They know how to get it done. And that's exactly what they do in the search and destroy. Again, savvy team, scrappy team. That was a scrappy search and destroy game no matter which way you play it. And they get it done. Map number 2 at the conclusion, 1-1. We're tied here on the Alpha stream once again. We talk about big matches. We talk about CCL Season 3 Split 1 coming to a close. We talk about in Split 2. Now for both of these 2 teams, who's going to get the upper hand advantage? Will KSU put themselves in a better standing inside of their division, or will it be the side of UTK Orange who can then draw blood here and be able to improve their record not only from 6-2 to 7-2, but also basically lock themselves in towards that top division of the next split? We keep alluding to it so much, or rather I do. It's because it's so important to be able to secure yourselves inside of that top division, inside of that second split of the season, because of how, again, easy it will be to lock yourself into playoffs. The best teams with the best records, at least the top 4 teams with the best records, will advance and lock themselves into playoffs without having to go through the 12-team relegation period, or rather the 16-team relegation period. And if you want to have only 4 teams advance from 16 teams, it doesn't matter if you're last in your division, you're first in your division, or you're the best team in there. Upsets are bound to happen as we get ready for playoffs. And I couldn't be more happy to be alongside and ready for the ride.
Yeah, it's looking like a good one. We're going to be heading into the map 3 checkmate control coming up next. And this one could be bad, but Rose, you have to keep your eyes out on him. He is going to be the MVP for KSU based on his stats thus far this season. He's been putting down over a 2 KD on the mode, and no one else on his team is really even that close to matching him. For UTK, overall, they have very good stats, but no one matches him up at that same point. So it's going to be an exciting one. It's going to be fast and furious. And I'm right there with you. I'm excited to see how everything ends up playing.
Checkmate control on the other side of a break. My name's McCormill. That's Morgan Dunn. And we'll be back for map number 3. Tied series, KSU Black. It's almost a must-win situation for them here in the control. At least you would feel inside of this series. A very defensively minded control map of checkmate. They're going to be starting on the offensive side here, though. Round number 1, UTK Orange. They've got defense. It's going to be a slay fest all the way down to the end.
Yeah, and here we go. As you said, it is usually defensive side, so with the teams being relatively closely matched until this point, I would expect big attacks from defense. Try and get those spawn traps down against the attacking side. Get big respawn leads for yourself so you can guarantee a defensive spawn come round 5. The guys to watch are definitely Rose for the side of KSU Black and really Goose Fava for the side of UTK. That has become expected through how he's performed through these first 2 maps right now as the A site starts getting capped up. As you said, though, must win, it feels like, for KSU. If they can make it to an SND, they have a chance, but I don't have that much hope for the hard point. Let's see how things do right now as they get to around the 1-minute point.
4-0 start there from Trauma, eventually found his demise. 2 kills in a row for the side of UTK Orange onto the Trauma players. So UTK Orange has been a good defense thus far. However, KSU are looking for that first bit of progress on A in terms of capturing the entire point. B has not been basically touched at all or even had any sort of wayward side towards it. So UTK Orange will go ahead and find themselves just holding back a little bit on the defensive side. Goose Fava now on a 2 streak. It's going to be Slain on a 3 spree as well. So both of those players potentially looking to go ahead and find themselves on streak. But as now both of those players are at 3, now make it Slayin for 4. Slayin needs to be a little bit careful here because if he dies over towards a spawn trap, it could be very costly for later rounds if he's not able to secure those streaks. However, that trophy was well placed. It's going to destroy the Semtex that could have taken his life.
Doesn't quite get himself over to streaks as Trauma puts down a double kill, but Alstro has a very good flank that doesn't turn into anything. I was starting to get worried. KSU had an initial play over by A, but once they lost the momentum, it was all falling apart. Now they are back in on the map, getting this progress by B. It is a very momentum-based map here inside of Checkmate. You send everything towards one side, and if you get broken, you might not have another chance in. Good timing there by Shank, using his teammates' distraction to finish it off, and you have an extra minute to play through. Down 3 lives, but a chance now from the attack.
Great kills there from Juice is going to allow those team to have a little bit more advantage up towards the middle map, but they don't have top plane control. They've got the bottom of the plane. It's not going to be great, but they are going to be able to get on B to force the hand of UTK Orange from that top plane control. Alstro, though, makes the most of it, is able to find 2. Now it's back to the respawn block and a potential spawn trap for the side of UTK Orange as Slayin takes down the furthest pushed up player from the side of KSU Black. Revised, Semtex over the top is going to be able to get at least a little bit of information and intel on 1. Damages up and weakens up a couple of players as well. Rose on the staircase won't be able to find anything more than his death. And Revised now looking for another kill over towards the right. Juice by the hair of his chin is able to escape from that kill. 2 ticks over, rather 1 tick over towards B. That's going to be just about it. With 1 life remaining, it's going to be 11 versus 1. He starts it there, unless DK Orange with a great round 1 on the defensive side.
You're right, Juice did survive by the hair of his chinny chin until his own Semtex was stuck right in front of him. And that just kind of wraps up the feeling of that first round there for KSU. You think you have it going, you are like, oh, thank God, we got ourselves onto a point, and then it all just falls apart again. In come UTK to push you off, get the spawn trap going, and a 9-life lead there from the first round. That is a big thing to try and overcome if you're looking to play from these defensive sides. But before you even think about map 5 or round 5, you have to see if KSU get there. They need to come out very hot here on the defense themselves and show that this is going to be a back and forth affair. Otherwise, UTK will just put pedal to the metal and take this game home.
I was going to worry about the kills as well. Well, Trauma, he did it in round number 1. Does it here as well. Starts off in a nice little hot 2 spree. 3 in a row for the side of KSU Black, but UTK Orange looking to go ahead and maybe make that a little bit more difficult and a bit challenging. Rose escapes, well, at least for the time being, and there, I guess you can call it gas or curse there, but under towards the bottom plane, Revise will be able to revise his opponent down to a T. 3-0 down, and there it is. And now they're going to be working over towards B. A lot of times you'll see players go towards A first. It's actually going to be a 2-player split towards each of the sites. Trophy down as well in towards the point. Now will go. 2 more kills go. A progress tick at B already. They get the kill that they need there. They should at least get 2 ticks over towards B. Stack the point. Now it's going to be going even faster. Oh, this one could be the completion of B. We know how easy A is, at least speaking technically on the offensive side here. There's B. There's an extra minute on the clock, and they've got a 7 life advantage. Oh my, this is domination, but not domination.
I mean, yeah, we're back to Modern Warfare Map 3 domination right now with how this is going. I mean, UTK really giving it to KSU Black. They've only died 6 times that entire round and then just close it out. And It's all because of how they took control of the middle of the map. They got bottom plane, they got top plane, and there was nowhere to hide for these KSU members. They all got sent back to their respawns, and you see the rare defensive side spawn trap coming against them. That's not something you play against very often. That's not something you have to break very often, and it just gets in your head for KSU. Shank struggling 3 and 11 right now, and right next to him is Juice, who's had 2 rough games. They aren't out of it quite yet. There are always chances at reverse sweeps, and this isn't the end of the world. You at least have map 4, but it feels like things are slipping away very, very quickly for Kennesaw.
Hey, Morgan, let me ask you a question here. Have you ever seen a faster offensive win in a control round on Checkmate before?
No,
What
not
we
at
just
all.
saw there? No, okay. That's what I thought. That might have been one of the least closely contested maps of Checkmate I've ever seen, or at least rounds anyways, but I mean, that rivaled a 4-man hit from both teams and towards the top plane on Search and Destroy fast, so you got to give it to the side of UTK Orange. It was a great round. They do well, they slay well, and they control the map in every single way. It's got 4 down after 4 down, but now over towards the AS&D site, it is going to be players from KSU Black trying to push up once again. But, I mean, the life count's already starting to dwindle here. Although it's 2 lives, we saw how big of a difference that made at the end of the first defensive round for UTK Orange. I mean, if this isn't looking like a 3-0 already, I don't know what is. Good news for KSU Black, though. All it takes is a couple of 4 downs and a good couple of clean hits, and you can be right back inside of this with a 1-2 deficit, but it's not looking great.
Yeah, and going back to that last round, it is the 4 downs that mean so much. In control, you know where the enemy team is going to spawn, and it's not very close, so you get the full team wipe. Everything goes your way. In comes Goose Fava getting 1 and 2, can't quite find the third. Wanted to do a 4 down all on his own, but UTK doing more than enough to get in there on the site as it slips back the other direction. On KSU side, some of the guys heating up, but not quite there yet. Juice going to run his way on and see if he can spot out Goose Fava behind the side, but with time down to only 19 seconds remaining, it's only a 3 life difference now back to 3. I just still don't feel the hope in my heart.
Well, maybe a 3 down will change that fortune just a bit. 14 seconds left in the round here, but 2 ticks over towards A could at least allow them to have a little bit more fun in the rest of this round, but that's going to be the ruiner of fun right there. The cruise missile comes through and finds 2, looking for the last player over towards A. Somehow, some way, though, they will add an extra minute onto the clock, only down by 3 lives, so a manageable offensive round. As I said beforehand, when there's a will, there is a way, and for KSU, they have the will. Can they find that way? Revive. Goose, though, will basically make this one a bit of a bloodbath, a middle map. They'll send the side of KSU back to the respawn block in their spawn, and now the spawn trap can come through. Alstro is there looking for Juice under the plane. Well, that's 2 down there once again. Revive on another streak here inside of this game. Has been on a couple of streaks thus far, namely a 2, 3, 4, and a 5 that we saw earlier on, but now on a 4. Alstro will go ahead and try to complement his counterpart with another streak of 3. 17 and 7, 22 and 13. that one's gotta hurt, right? I mean, your teammate tries to make a great play over towards Tetris while throwing a Semtex to get Alstro out of Tetris, and it's not gonna work, though. Revive's almost able to snap on for the 7th in a row. It's not really gonna matter, though. This one's just about over.
I think what hurts the most is Juice hasn't been killed by a UTK Semtex. He's been killed by KSU Semtexes twice this map, and he is at this point just ready to throw his controller against the wall. A rough one for him, but still alive right here as it is going to be Trauma in the 1v8. You know, if you have control of the top of the plane, nothing is impossible, but as the information gets called out, the pinch is there as well, going to get cleaned up. And speaking of clean, 3-0 right there for UTK to take this one home, heading into another respawn mode on the hard point. That feels like a possible nail in the coffin.
Yeah, highlighted at the beginning of this match. Maybe a must-win, probably a must-win for the side of KSU Black. They don't get it done there on the control. Now they go back to a hard point where in the first series, in the first map, it was a 250 to 116 victory for the side of UTK Orange within that Moscow hardpoint. So you come to think of it, Garrison hardpoint plays much different than Moscow. However, the spawns can be just as unpredictable between these both of the maps. So opportunity, sure. You know, there's always opportunity when you have two teams playing on a map. Realistically, though, when we talk about it in common sense terms, it just doesn't look like it's going to be KSU's day.
Yeah, what worries me for KSU on Garrison is those power hills, hills 2 and 3, because I feel like they're going to be the people getting there first. They're going to be the first ones to hill 2 and the first ones to hill 3. They were doing that on Moscow, but they couldn't hold on to a hill to save their life. If that is the same thing here, it could get ugly quickly. That's what it is all about on Garrison. It is a little bit different in the rotations on those second halves, going from P3 all the way back over to P5. Because you can really lock down the spawns you want in that entire section. I have seen teams that are getting beat on the KDs able to stand strong, able to come through and keep the score very close despite it all. But it's an uphill battle to say the least right now. Some of the members are really struggling to get their guns hot right now for KSU Black. You would love to see Juice start to heat up. Hopefully he doesn't catch another friendly Semtex, or else I wouldn't be mad just seeing him disconnect from the game at that point. A lot of challenge right now, but at least they've picked up one map. Personally, that's more than I thought they were going to do coming into it. So they've proven me wrong. Let's see if they can do it again.
For the sake of all KSU fans in the chat, I truly do hope that can maybe pull this one through. It's tough though, because you know you want to be able to predict here. You want to be able to say, oh, they do have a chance. You want to be able to say, yeah, going into this one, it's going to be a closely contested battle. You always want to be able to say that between two teams. However, there's a certain point where the realism sets in, where you have to be truthful with yourself and with your audience and say, look, KSU, they played good in the first hardpoint, but it wasn't good enough. They played good in the second S&D, but they barely were able to scrape by after being down early and then having a little bit of at least control to come back in a sense to win that round 11. But the one game that they were able to take was a very closely contested search and destroy, a game mode that plays nothing like our respawn game modes. So then you take that into the respawn game modes, you take it into the control wars, a blowout victory for UTK Orange where it didn't even look like they were breaking a sweat on the map. And then KSU Black were just trying to almost just vie for a kill at a time and just try to break out of their spawn, even on the offensive side. So realistically, you know, it's hard to give confidence to oneself. KSU Black, though, the good news coming into this is that statistically speaking, this could potentially be their best hardpoint map.
Yeah, and going up against UTK Orange, you never are sure. This could be their worst. They could slip at this point. And really, I do think they have a good hardpoint strategy. I think they have a brilliant hardpoint strategy based on how they played that first map. It's just all about finishing off those early rotations for yourself as Juice dies to a Semtex to kick off the game. But I'm not going to say it's completely outstanding. I think this will be a closer hardpoint than map 1. But to turn a close hardpoint into a victory, that's a whole nother thing. That comes down to being clutch. That comes down to just having that difference in the way you play that these better teams have. And I haven't seen it quite yet from KSU. Would love to see myself get proved wrong as they set themselves up here on P1, but already UTK blocking any form of rotation over towards Satellite.
Well, I've got control of the most important part of the map right now, and that is over towards top. Well, they did have control over towards top green until the players from KSU Black were able to come through in a Stormtroop force all the way up towards the front. Alstro will escape with his life over towards Square and towards Bricks, but it was only for a bit of time as Trauma was there with the Semtex to go ahead and find the kill. Shank there, though. Now the rotations come through. Goose Fava and Revise both there to find those trades. So, again, You highlighted how they had the rotations over towards P2. They lose them for a bit of time here, but player 8's kind of out on an island now because you see the players from UTK Orange making that suffocating pinch in towards that satellite point. The players now from the side of KSU Black are going to be pushing in from the Ram side, which technically can be the preferred side. However, it's going to come down to winning those gunfights. Now Stro's been the one to take the majority of them thus far.
Yeah, but just closer respawns right now for UTK. They were going back and forth on the kill feed there for a little bit, but the reinforcements come back for Tennessee faster, and that's why Alstro in here holding his own. It is going to be the call to rotate now with about 20 seconds remaining as Revise just tries to clean things up and get this trash time. Easy close up of these rotations for Tennessee. They are already back over by P3, but it's going to be a momentary man advantage for Kennesaw State. Have to get past Goose Baba first, and there goes one, but the information on the cross is through, and the defense should be prepared around the corner.
Early rotations, early breaks, everything for the side of UTK Orange, reminiscent of what we saw in map number 1 in that Moscow hardpoint. It's just happening over and over again. It's like deja vu on the map. Slaying once again, finding him, at least was finding his way in map number 1. Maybe not the same results here, but on a 2 spree, looking to find his way inside of map number 4. Surprised to get even to a map number 4, potentially after what we were kind of stating inside of our pre-show before this map had gone through. However, KSU Black have reigned victorious in moments before. They can do the same here once again as they broke in the spawns here with just 30 seconds left.
Yeah, getting themselves in with 30 seconds is not the worst. You can get close to tying this one up and then connect it to P4. We've seen it plenty of times, but the breaks are just too easy. Right now, every time KSU has a member on the point, he's looking the wrong direction. Very few times have we seen UTK members really take head-on 1v1 gunfights like that. It is often them getting free kills on the flanks, and it's just the timing and the map knowledge that is giving them this game thus far. They are going to have the 40-point lead and control of P4 coming in right now. That is dangerous. That's the side you want to be on, but it's not the end of the world thus far. Some good play out of the KSU members. Juice has finally woken up, but as O-Rose starts to go back to sleep, he is going to need to take control for his team.
Oh, Revive was almost able to find himself the 5th kill on his streak there. Again, reminiscent of what we saw in the control there towards the end. It was all UTK Orange, but more importantly, those streaks when they came through at the end were the difference maker with the cruise missile and that artillery barrage that did come through. Juice and Trauma, though, have gotten themselves a pair and found themselves in towards this hard point over towards Trash. Green control for UTK Orange might not be enough, though. It's a difficult break from top green if you're not able to get in towards that point and find those initial kills. However, with Slaying there, it is going to be 3 down once again for UTK Orange, so an opportunity to come back now. It's 14 seconds of scrap time here towards Trash. They're finding those early picks over towards this next rotation, thinning the line of UTK Orange out. But more importantly, look where players number 3 and 1 spawned on the map, and with Rose finding that kill. This is huge for the side of KSU Black because now they might have these rotations.
Yeah, as the one man on his team keeping that control of the map past halfway point. That was a huge kill. Now you see they're spawning over there to help him out. It is going to be Shank that needs to make the play, and he gets the first one. Oro spawns in behind him. As we were talking about, spawns can be unpredictable here on Garrison, as it is just a mix of colored arrows down there on the mini-map going back and forth. Control of P5 will go over to UTK for the moment, but they were down within 30 points was KSU, and so that means they still have a hope in this one. They are continuing to grind and climb that hill as things go the other direction. Alstro gets himself on a 5 streak, but it gets closed off before he can actually get those score streaks to help him out. Seems like the spawn trap is finally getting locked in for UTK, but moments of hope there for a few seconds for KSU.
Towards the point, 11 seconds of scrap time. KSU Black, they've gotten a lot of scrap time thus far. Just hasn't been enough for them. I mean, only at 69 points right now, still early in this game relatively, as we do get back over towards point number 1 for a second set of rotations. But Trauma, he got had bad beforehand, now reverses the roles and has Revise on his back fingers, snapping the neck of the opponent as it stands. However, as a Rose flies up, it is going to be Alstro who again finds a 2-piece. It seems like every single time Alstro's in the kill feed, it's at least 2 kills in a row. Escapes with his life once again. Goosefaba is there. Trauma will find Alstro inside of the hill to take him off the 3 spree. But 22 and 10 thus far here inside of game number 4 leads the way for both of the two teams and has been an influential and instrumental part of why UTK Orange has the lead that they do thus far.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at Alstro's stats throughout the season thus far, he has had 2 monster maps back to back. The man is not averaging a 2KD like this, so popping off here to try and close things out for UTK Orange, back up from a 30-point lead to almost 60. KSU are going to have one man fighting for himself behind Satellite, but it's a 2v1. It's a dangerous one that Slayin ends up picking up, and that is control for UTK yet again. Things have been against what we expected compared to map 1 in a lot of ways, but I think one of the big ones is how UTK are consistently winning these rotations. We thought it was going to be KSU getting there first and then getting kicked off, but no, they are constantly fighting to get these breaks and surprisingly getting a few if they get a good timing.
Rose up, revised there. Not going to be able to find the shots, but I mean, look at the play that KSU Black have. I mean, they're trying to break from this ramp side once again. Last time it didn't work out for them whatsoever, and it allowed UTK Orange not only to get the lion's share of time, but also rotate out over towards P3 to get the rotations in the majority of the time before they were eventually able to break back with 30 seconds. But they split that even with a little bit of contest time, even going to the side of UTK Orange. So now we look for players number 4 and 8. Shank wins a huge one-on-one gunfight, but look at the presence that the side of UTK Orange has on that right side of the map. The halfway point is what dictates the spawns inside of Black Ops Cold War, and that's exactly why UTK Orange were able to spawn over towards Hangar, opposed to spawning back over towards that previous hardpoint. Shank needs to stay alive and find a couple of kills while he waits for his teammates to push up through the map. Shank will be there, but Alstro will be able to find that first blood here. They continue to spawn over towards the back. They've got 3 players there, and player number 3 is going to be instrumental in middle map, but Alstro on a 6 spree, looking for streaks. All he needs is 1 kill or just to wait in this hill for about 10 to 15 more seconds if a contest does not come through.
Yeah, I finally thought KSU was going to be the first teams onto a hill, but a couple big kills by UTK and some lucky spawns get them control over here on the right side of the map. And I saw Ovros pop in the furthest top left you can see. There goes a 3v1 gunfight in favor of Tennessee again. And since that moment, I had hope. Since that moment that KSU brought it within 30 points, it seemed like a comeback might be on. It has just been a different team of UTK. Up to 216 to 80. They are in complete control of this one, and even if you play it perfectly from now on KSU's side, it is such a winner's advantage for Tennessee where they can just get those early rotations that I don't think there's really much to come back on. But look at their positive sides. It's going to have to be Trauma. He is going to have to try and lead his team back into this as the kills are coming through, and it's a 3-man death squad for UTK taking control of P4.
Now Stroh up top looking for the shots to be raining down from the heavens above in top green, but the gods will no longer allow him to stay alive up towards the top. It will be the shots that come through from KSU Black trying to attempt to get onto the point. Last time it was a 250 to 116 win for the side of UTK Orange. Similar score line thus far. KSU Black, at this point, it's about not getting 100-point clubbed here. You want to be able to walk away from this one feeling a little bit confident in your hardpoint skills, and not that you aren't confident thus far, but you want to get as much practice as you can here in the late moments of this hardpoint, especially holding down this trash hill, which you were able to do the best the last time through. This time they're going to be able to do well once again with Juice going off huge inside of the point there. Finally, we'll find his demise with Goose Fava being one shot in towards the point. The shot punch wasn't able to come through to clean up that last player. However, it has been about 35 seconds of time for the side of KSU Black here. You wonder where this might have been earlier inside of the game, because that was a realistically great hold for the side of KSU Black. They won the majority of their gunfights. They got the majority of the kills to go in their favor the entirety of that point. But again, it's just a little bit too little too late. Again, they had good rotations from P4 to P5 last time too. They just weren't able to hang on to them because UTK Orange's slaying power always seems to come through on top.
I mean, the problem is on hardpoint, the reason you hear casters say too little too late so often is because the team that is in the lead can take early rotations, they can get to a winning position first, and they don't have to even sweat it. UTK Orange taking home map 4, 250 to 111, and Alstro, the undeniable MVP for this game. 2 straight huge maps, and he is the topic of a whole lot of spam in chat right now.
Yeah, it's the hot top frag on the leaderboard. That's all you really got to do. That's just how it is. But you got a player that's that hot, he can carry his team to a win and a victory. It was the same thing we saw yesterday with Fishity. Fishity was able to carry his team to a victory, dropping 42 points in that first hard point map. The rest of his team wasn't even fantastical in the slaying category, but again, when there's a will, there's a way. There's a team that's just clearly better in one game mode than another team. It's going to work out for you very, very well. It was apparent when we were coming into this in terms of KDs, in terms of the slaying power that they had, and it shows up on the scoreboard, and of course, the series win as well. A 3-1 victory for the side of UTK Orange will alleviate their record to 7-2. They'll remain third in their division, but almost guarantee themselves a spot in the top division for Split 2. KSU Black, though, they'll go down to 5-4. They do hold a tiebreaker over LSU Purple, who is the second team that is trying to get in towards that last spot inside of the top division for Split 2. They are the 7 seed looking in. It's the bubble match between KSU and LSU Purple that we're going to be having to keep our eyes on throughout the entirety of the rest of the last 2 weeks of this Split 1. But again, KSU Black's demise there. If LSU Purple can win 2 more games, maybe 3 more games, and KSU Black loses maybe just 1 or 2 more, then that could completely flip what the division is going to be looking like inside of that. If you're an LSU Purple fan, you're loving this right now. If you're a KSU Black fan, you're okay with this, but you're going to have to clutch up in these next couple of games. You've got some good opponents coming up to where you can get yourself some wins, so it shouldn't be anything to worry about thus far. However, it's just going to be about clutching up, having that composure, and finishing out the rest of Split 1 to get into Split 2 to find yourself in the utmost advantage getting ready for playoff time.
Yeah, and when you're looking at the games coming up right now for KSU, they still have LA Tech Red on the roster. They're 9-0 right now. You can almost already chalk that one up as a loss. It sucks to say, but the top team is a top team for a reason. But LSU also still needs to play LA Tech.
True.
So when you look at who else is up, it's MSU Maroon for both of these teams. That is a massive game. Whoever can pick up those wins. KSU wins that one, they secure it for themselves.
Yep.
They are all good. They will be moving on. So still a hope, but even closer after getting knocked down by UTK today. And for UTK, as you said it, they've locked themselves in. They have eyes to the sky now, looking to get those playoff splits with right out of Split 2. They don't have to play qualifiers. They want to get the qualifier automatically.
GG's in the chat. Folks, it's been fun. We still got one more match here on the Alpha stream, though. It's going to go back to I Hold Shift in Cambert for Miami, Ohio versus North Kentucky Gold. The last match that not only ends off day 2, but week 5 of CCL season 3. 3 regions will be ending Split 1 at the conclusion of week 5. The rest of the 5 regions will be finishing out their Split 1 at the end of week number 6. Like I said, it's been fun. That's it for myself. I'm a cornmeal. Morgan Dunn alongside me. We've got one more great match here to end off the Alpha stream tonight and end off week number 5. It's going to be proper. Or not proper. It's going to be I Hold Shift in Camford here on the last match of the night. You guys enjoy yourselves and take care.